I think that body language is severely overlooked in today's day and age for how much it affects how people perceive you. Everybody's always focused on like how you dress, what kind of clothes you have, how you speak, getting that extra deep voice and all these other things. And they overlook body language. And yet it's been shown that having bad body language and good body language can severely impact how people perceive you trustworthy-wise, attractiveness-wise, and even how likely you are to be hired for a job. So it's clear that body language plays a huge role in other people's perception of us. And it's something like language that's picked up in childhood through our friends, family, entertainment. And there's this really interesting study called the Maharabian rule, where essentially this psychologist in like 1971 found that only around 7% of communication was done verbally between people. I believe 38% was tone of voice, and a whopping 55% was body language. So to say that, body language doesn't matter, just focus on having like nice clothes or just having a deep voice, I think you're severely overlooking something. So I am just another typical patient. I had terrible body language for years. Always hunched over. We always usually have our hands in our pockets as we're walking, and our necks are like usually craned a bit down as we're walking. And it's only we look up for a bit and then go back to looking down. And this was something that I didn't think was a problem. I didn't even know I was doing. But these sorts of things, we need to be aware of them. And it's only when I changed this that the reason I know that I had changed was actually because my mother was constantly reminding me, like, Tando, why do you walk like that? Why are you walking like that? And I know she didn't mean this in a mean way. I think it's just because she had been so used to me walking with bad body language for like most of my life, that now when I changed it to a more self-assured, confident one, she just didn't know what I was doing. Alright, so let's get started. First of all, number one rule is keep your head up. Keep your head facing forward when you're walking. And I know you may think that, but isn't the head down like the default state? I think it is, because I see so many guys of various ages doing it when they're walking. But I don't think that it's impossible to change that, because I'm living proof of that. I used to always walk with my head down until I learned about proper body language, head up, looking straight ahead. And also thanks to my modeling experience, I practiced it, and eventually it just became natural for me. Of course, I do still slip up every now and then, but I'm able to pull myself out of it quite quickly. So remember, keep your head facing forward when you're walking. Honestly, that clears 50%, not even that, more like 70%. If you're doing that, you're already better than 70% of guys in terms of walking properly. I've also covered a lot of other really important things about being confident and social for an introvert in my full, massive guide. So if you want, you can check that out down below. Now, I personally also don't like to keep my hands in my pockets. I like to keep them either by my side or maybe like one hand in my pocket on the side. Now, you don't have to do that. That's just my preference. You can do what you want. But just remember, the golden rule, keep your head up. And if you're feeling yourself a bit, then you can also practice maybe having your shoulders bounce a bit. And nothing crazy, nothing like you're juggling. But of course, if this feels natural to you, then don't be scared to let them sway a bit. And if you think people are going to comment on this, I've never ever had a bad comment about it. Ever. One girl said, "Tondo, I think you walk too confidently." But I wouldn't call that a bad comment, just because, I mean, for one, it's coming from a girl, and also because she said it in a way that I could tell there was no bite to it. So now we've covered like the walking part, but what about sitting down? Now I'm not gonna make like an entire sitting guide because I feel like that's just so autistically specific. But just a preface, it's again very, very well known that the more open and relaxed your body language is, well, I can't really emulate it here because there's nothing to lean on, but just imagine there's like a sofa here, that just like a more open and relaxed body language naturally makes people think you're more secure and trustworthy, and even more of a leader. And I feel like with this, you need to do it yourself. You need to test out which ways of sitting feel comfortable to you. Because again, I can't give you specific ways to sit because that will just make you act so inauthentically. But if you feel like it's comfortable for you to have maybe one leg that way, another leg that way, and one arm here, then do it. Don't feel scared of judgment to do it again. I've never had anybody comment on Tondo, you have way too open of body language. Even this whole like man-spreading thing where like women will complain about guys that are like keeping their legs out rather than like keeping them constricted. Again, I've never had that. It's ridiculous how much social media impacts how we see the world, even though the world does not act the way we think it does based on social media. So go out there and be relaxed in your body. Because that's all it is, really. Aside from all these like tricks and tips, if you're just relaxed in your body, then you'll be fine. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, take action, learn from failure. See ya.